The structure's in place, all the braces are in. The next step now is to mount the ridge board. I'm going to cut 3 posts and we're going to actually notch the ridge board in. And if all goes well, the rafters will sit on the posts and attach directly to the ridge board, and they should sit seamlessly. I'm going to cut 3 pieces of this 6x6 to start off with. There we go, all 3 cut. I'm just going to make sure they're exactly the same size, and then we'll lay them out for the notch and for the angles for the rafters to sit on. All 3 posts are cut to length, and they're all laid out for the cut to receive the ridge board and the rafters. I'm going to start with a skill saw, and then I'll finish mortising this out with the chisel. It's so nice to hear that loon out in the wake. Well, I made a decision on the roof. We're going to go with a 5/12 pitch. The little workshop and shed over there has on one side an 11/12 and the other side a 12/12, and I actually made trusses up for it. And it's got a lot of overhang because I put a wood storage rack for firewood underneath the one overhang. I want this to be a little more cozy and have the roof a little closer, so we've opted for a 5/12. So with a 5/12 pitch, I went to my framing square and pulled up the 13 factor off of it, and I determined the height of the ridge board supports. Now these ridge board supports are going to mount on these beams, and as you can see here, the ridge board is going to sit in there 1.25 inches. So the first step is I'm going to climb up, I'm going to lay out where these go, and I'm going to mount both end ridge boards. And I'd like to tell you that I have a 16-foot ridge board. I boo-booed when I ordered my material. I only ordered a 14-foot for some reason. So today we're going to head off to the lumber yard, and my wife wouldn't mind going to town anyways. It's a bit of a drive, but it's actually kind of fun. So we're going to pick up a 16-foot piece. But before that, I'm going to mount these in place, and I'm going to cut one rafter as a template and make sure it fits, and then I can cut out the rest of my rafters. So let's go up top and lay out where it goes. Morning, folks. It's another beautiful start to the day here at the cottage. And today, folks, we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to lay out, cut, and place 14 rafters up there. We've got the ridge board support beams in, the ridge board is up there, and it's time to lay out some rafters. Now, there are a lot of people that have all sorts of different systems in doing it. I go for pretty simple. The first line I make is I want to know the length of my rafter. I go to my trusty framing square and I look up under 5 and I go down and I hit a factor of 13. And then I just take my run and I go run times 12 or times 13 divided by 12, and it gives me, in this case, pretty close to 74.5. So that's the first mark we're going to make. Next thing, I'm going to take my speed square or rafter square, and on this line here where it says common rafters, I'm going to put it in place Pivot it till the 5 lines up with the edge of my 2x6. That end's marked. Now this end is a little different. I'm still going to make my 5/12 mark. But I want to put a bird's mouth in. And I want my bird's mouth to cover off the full length of the 6x6s that I've got for a top sill or a top plate. So I simply take the rafter square again. This time I'm going to lay it on there and I'm just going to pull it down till I hit 5.5, and then I'll draw a line across. There's the bird's mouth cut, and then I want to know how long to make my tail. Well, I'm going to say I want to gain as much overhang as possible, because this shed isn't going to have, or this outdoor kitchen isn't going to have any trough on it. Love to see that old StarCraft with the old mark on the back going by. I go back to my rafter square and I go to a 5/12 pitch, and then I pull it down, and the ends of these 2x6s are often quite checked, and I'm going to mount a 2x8 or a 2x6 on the end for a fascia board, so I want to make sure it looks pretty good. So I'm going to pull it back just a bit, and then I'll make them all the same. There we go. And what I'm actually going to do is cut one rafter, then I'll use it as a template. I'll actually do a dry fit, and if it fits good, I'll just trace all my lines. I won't lay out each one. And I've got a sliding compound miter saw set up, which is almost cheating, to cut the tail and the head of the rafter. Alrighty, let's cut one out. That is fantastic. The rafters fit like a dream. I'm going to hop down, grab the template, trace them out, and cut the rest. Oh, that feels so good.